This is the brand new Himiway C5 moped style full suspension electric bike. They claim it can do 80 miles on a single charge. We'll see what kind of range we actually get on today's 18-mile test ride.
What is happening right here? That dude's chasing me.
And the MSRP is $2,300, but you can find a discount link below the video in the description box. But do not buy the Himiway C5 electric bike just yet. We gotta run this thing up to 20% grade, see if it can climb hills. We gotta take it out on the beach, see if it can ride through sand. We gotta test the acceleration and the top speed and the brakes. And we gotta see whether or not it's worth the money.
But that chain is definitely touching the tire.
Check that out. They give us a coffee mug. Nice. And we'll see what's in here in a moment. But first, let's pull this thing out of here and take a look at it. Dude, is that a cup holder? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I've never seen an e-bike with a cup holder, but welcome to 2024. And check out that frame, very unique. Almost looks like a dirt bike. Battery is mounted down here, and it is full suspension with an air shock in the rear. We'll take a closer look at that in a few. It is full suspension, but there is no linkage, so we'll see how that feels out in the real world. Looks like there's an integrated light, and we will be rolling on 20-inch Himiway by Kenda tires. Here's what the tread pattern looks like. Looks like it's mostly designed for street riding. Could probably do a little bit of off-roading on that too. They are 4 inches wide, and the brakes are, come on, oh, dang it. Broke that thing off in there. I'll get it out, I hope. Brakes are Tektura 180mm rotors. Oh shoot, I'm gonna have to get the drill out. Looks like it might be a through axle design. Brake calipers are also Tektro, and the wheels are spoke wheels, helping keep the weight down. It is possible you could break a spoke at some point, but the spoke wheels will be lighter than mag wheels. Give you a little better acceleration. We'll test the acceleration out here soon. And of course the motor is a Himiway 750 watt nominal power motor. I just noticed the rear light actually has the Himiway logo built into it. Fire that thing up shortly. 750 watts is the nominal power of the motor. Regular viewers of the channel will know that the peak power output of the motor would be dependent on the controller amperage multiplied by the voltage. So the controller is a 22 amp controller. This is a 48 volt system. 48 volt battery charged to max, about 54 volts multiplied by 22. So almost 1200 watts peak power. So as long as this battery can provide 22 amps, we should be able to hit those numbers. Take a look at the battery. We'll pop it off with the key. Has the Himiway logo on one side, Himiway brand on the other. Looks like you could plug a USB-C port in right there. You want to charge your cell phone or something. This is where you charge the battery. And the other side is where you would place the key and to remove it. So this thing's like mounted upside down. I'm assuming on some sort of rail. Maybe it doesn't come off. I don't know, actually. This point in time. Oh yeah, it comes off. Appears to have some sort of lights on there, maybe to indicate charge. So battery is, here's the number shown down here. Looks like there's a rating for 47.1 volt, 904 watt hours, 19.2 amp hour. So here's all the numbers listed on the battery. Website has it listed as a Samsung/LG cell 48 volt 20 amp hour battery. And this thing has like haptic feedback. When I'm pressing this, it kind of like vibrates. Well, let's toss her on the scale, see how much it weighs. Oh, error, so it's over 10. Must be just over 10 pounds, because as I'm letting my fingers off, 11, error, just barely. The entire weight of the bike says 88 pounds. We'll get it on my official scale here shortly. Maximum payload capacity, 330 pounds. Rider height, 5'4" to 6'3". I'm 6'5". We'll see how I look soon, but let's see what we're charging this battery with. And well, we have a Himiway hat, some tools, oh, some decals. So if you want to change up your color, so a nicely packaged headlight. Again, branded Himiway. Himiway logos all around this thing. They are all about the logos, the branding. Screws, some pedals for our electric moto bike, derailleur guard. Show you what this is. And the real reason we came here, check the charger out. So the charger is a 3 amp charger. As I mentioned, 48 volts charged to max is 54.6. 20 amp hours divided by 3 amp charge rate. So it'll be about 6.5 hours to charge from completely empty to completely full. Got a little guide and manual. Don't forget your bell. So we'll top off the charge as we finish building. I have a feeling it's gonna light these lights up when I plug it in. Let's check it out. Is it gonna do it? Is it gonna do it? No. So up front here we have a dual crown fork, and it is inverted suspension. These little guards up here look like carbon fiber, but they're plastic. Just like this carbon fiber looking material. Feels plastic to me. There is no preload adjustment on the left stanchion. The right side, we do get a compression adjustment with micro adjustments. And we'll check out that display here in a few. Looks like we have some mounting points on the side here. Chain ring on front, has a guard on both sides to help keep your chain on there in case you're getting crazy off-road. So let's slap those handlebars on there. So So up front we have a pretty beefy through axle. Let's see if we can do this. This is really a two-person job. Ugh. I'll do it. This is like the same way a Saran front axle goes on, actually. C5 Ultra Sport. So we're getting there. Let's see how much it weighs. Today I weigh 198.8, and without the battery, if I pick this thing up, let's flip it on around and step on the scale while holding the bike, it says I weigh 268.8. So that's 70 pounds. Without the battery, if we throw the battery on the scale, that clocks in at 11.2. So about 81.2 pounds. So I'll take a look at the other side of this bike now. Down here on the bottom of the right stanchion, we actually have a rebound adjustment. So you get rebound on the bottom, compression on top. We get a long chainstay, family series. We get a Shimano Altus derailleur, and as mentioned, the derailleur guard will go right here. This will protect your derailleur in case you knock the bike over, which, since it was not installed in shipping, it'd be nice to have that installed in shipping. Sometimes these boxes get dropped on their side. You can see that there is 7 gears on the Shimano cassette. It's on gear number 2, which has clearance at the top of the tire, but at the bottom I can see the chain is touching the tire here. I'm actually just confused because it seems like it's lined up, like the derailleur and the gears lined up, but that chain is definitely touching the tire. Yeah. We'll feel it out. Well, I think it's about time we throw that battery on there. And we'll get this display fired up here in just a moment. It does have another USB-C port right down here. But let's take a look at the grips. They are round and rubber. We have a 7-speed Shimano shifter. Thumb throttle will be operated on the left. Here's the controls. And Tektro hydraulic brake levers. Fire that light up in a moment. Let's give it a try. Power. Himiway. So it's got a bright and nice display. Actually, let's power that off real quick. And it might not appear as color at first, but I do see a red dot in the Himiway logo. So there is color on this display, technically. And battery is showing up here in the top left in terms of 5 bars. And we'll get the typical, probably 5 levels of pedal assist here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 miles an hour right there. Trip. We'll press the M button here. We get average speed, max speed, minutes, mile, trip. That's your stuff there. I wonder what happens if we hold plus and minus till we go into the menus. Yeah, it's a tricky one though. It's all cryptic. You gotta get in the menu. Oh yeah, it shows you how to change everything. So we'll get into the settings, unlock top speed and stuff if we have to. So real quick, to give you an idea of the size of this thing, I am 6'5". The maximum recommended height for this bike is 6'3". Here's what I look like getting on it. Let's give it a feel. Yeah, that rear suspension, I think I'm gonna need to adjust the rear suspension. I don't know if it's adjustable, we'll find out. Front suspension's feeling soft, easy adjustments right here. And here's what my pedal stroke would look like with an inseam of 34. Again, I am beyond the maximum size of this bike recommended. So in the test ride we're about to do here, I will not probably be pedaling this thing too much. It is relatively short crank arms, I'm noticing. There's not like a large radius in that crank arm. So probably more of a motorbike. Let's try that throttle. Oh yeah. So back brake is on the right. Important to know if you're trying to pop wheelies. Dude, this thing just looks like a motorcycle, does it not? With these like fairings. So we do have a brake light, as we can see here, pulling on the rear brake. Check it out, when I grab the brake lever, it lights up this light. And if I hold the plus button, that should turn on the lights. Indeed. Now if I grab the brake light, it still lights up, just a little bit brighter. And here's what the headlight's looking like. Shining on that box over there, you can see it lights it up a little bit compared to off. And I noticed as I was tapping the throttle there, it does show a power meter right here. It doesn't show watts, but it does show an indication of power. And stock settings will take us up to 20 miles an hour on throttle only. I think it said there's a torque sensor on this thing. We'll have to get this thing outside. But here's what we're looking like on full throttle, pedal assist 5. And as promised, we'll take a closer look at the shock. So it is an air shock. You can adjust the amount of air in it right here. So that will dictate how firm or how soft it is. It seems really stiff right now out of the box. Might need to let some air out. I mean, is that shock even moving is my question. It doesn't feel like it has much movement to it. So it's an air shock. We can just remove this and let a little bit of air out. Not sure how much to let out. Let's give that a try. Oh yeah. That's probably a little bit too much. Darn it. There's actually a special kind of air pump that you should be using for this. This is not the tool, but it'll get the job done, I hope. Oh yeah, 0 PSI. Whoa. I don't know what to even put this thing on. Let's see what that did. Oh yeah, that's a little better. Not really seeing any help in the user manual here on that setting. I found a manual online. Looks like there is a main pressure and a negative pressure adjustments. Looks like they recommend 65 to 150 PSI for the main pressure. Negative pressure must not exceed the main pressure. I'm guessing that's the main pressure. The negative pressure I can't get to. It's way up in there. Let's give it a try on 66. Let's do 90. Probably lose a little bit here, popping it off. Maybe not much. Have no idea what the negative pressure is. Let's see how this feels. Oh yeah, that seems fine actually. Pretty good. A little bit of play to it. Let's roll. All right, dudes, let's take out the Himiway C5 for a rip. We'll fire up the Strava here so we can check our official range. I'm the long range expert. Got this suspension all dialed in to the best of my ability. Fire up this display here, and we'll bring the manual along so we can get in the settings, unlock the top speed if necessary. So let's feel this thing out. So right away, I'm noticing the automatic headlight is kicking on. Dims the display just a bit. So we'll test out the top speed and acceleration here in just a few, but first, we're gonna do the 20% grade. I weigh 200 pounds, throttle only. Let's see what kind of torque the Himiway C5 is working with. Shows us our power output here in terms of a bar meter, and it's pulling us up to 20% grade on throttle only. So for a 750 watt nominal motor output, that's pretty typical. And woo, we got some wind out here today. Hopefully the microphone works. First thing we're gonna do here is throw on the polarized sunglasses. Can you see that display through polarized lenses? Yes, sir, you sure can. That's a great sign. So let's dial this thing on down to pedal assist 0 and kind of just feel it out here. So put this thing on about gear number 3 here. You can kind of get it rolling and pedaling. You know, if your battery dies, you can get it home. It's got pedals. Let's try pedal assist 1 now. So let's feel it out here. Is this a torque sensor or cadence sensor? I actually forget. Pedal assist 1, it's giving me about 2 bars of power there, taking me up to about 11. So we got this thing on pedal assist 2 now, giving us just a little bit more power here. And this will take us up to around 13 or so, 14. And pedal assist 3, let's see what that'll do. Yep, definitely feel a bump in power there. And this is a torque sensor because if I'm just pedaling a little bit, it'll give me like a little bit of power. You can see it's kind of just giving like 2 or 3, 1, 2 bars there. But if I press harder, so now it'll give me a little bit more power in proportion to how hard I'm pedaling. So generally a torque sensor is great for a bike. You know, you want to get some exercise on. It feels like basically a bicycle juiced up a little bit. For somebody who's 6'5" riding this bike, a little bit taller than I should be for this bike, torque sensor, you know, I'm probably not gonna be pedaling this bike a ton because, you know, it just doesn't really work out for my pedaling too well. My legs are just too long for this bike, really. Let's go ahead and bump the throttle on pedal assist 3. Will that give us all the power? Yes, it peaks out the power there. And obviously 4 just cranks it up a little bit more. Let's put it on 5 and see how that feels. So I'll bump it all the way on to pedal assist 7 now. The nice thing about a torque sensor is, you know, you can just kind of have it on pedal assist 5, give it like a very little amount of pedaling power, and you know, you can kind of chill. You know, it's going like 11, but put in a little bit more power and it'll ramp up based on how hard you're pressing on the pedals. So out of the box, throttle will cut us off at 20 miles an hour on throttle. If I start pedaling it, will it take us beyond 20 miles an hour? No. So we are limited to 20 miles an hour, hard limit out of the box. We'll break out the manual here in just a few. So it does have that adjustable air shock on the rear, the mono shock. You can dial it in, you know, to fit your weight, make it just right for you. So riding this thing off-road, you know, I can definitely feel those bumps. I do have the suspension a little bit tight rather than a little bit loose right now. It's fine. Popping out here onto the big boy road, it'd be nice to have more than 20 miles an hour right now. So we're gonna have to get into those settings here shortly. Oh man, go faster. We just can't do it on stock settings. Oh great, we have a mattress blocking the bike lane. And this one did not come with a fender installed on the front. There is some sort of fender on the back, but we'll work our way around this puddle. So let's go ahead and give this thing a 0 to 20 acceleration test. Thumb throttle on the left, GPS in the right hand. It's gonna cut us off right before 20. Ready, go. So it gives you power right away. And 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20.
and it cuts us off like immediately as soon as it hits 20. Speedometer does appear to be accurate according to my GPS. Let's unlock the top speed. Bro, is this guy going for a run with a helmet on? Hey man, you can never be too safe, right? Gosh, I hope one of these palm leaves don't come down, hit me in the face today. Come to think of it, maybe I should have a full face helmet on. All right, let's see if we can figure out this cryptic menu. Not one of those easy to operate ones, but they do have instructions. Manual does not say anything about unlocking top speed. Let's check the internet. Got the Saran gang rolling through over there. Bro, honestly, I don't see anything anywhere on how to unlock the top speed on this thing, so I'm guessing they don't want us to go faster than 20. Realistically though, this thing would probably hit 28, maybe 30 top speed if you could find a way to unlock it. Let's see if we can take this dude. Ready? Go. He's letting us win. So I mean, it makes sense. They're the long range expert. If you want long range, you need lower power. And by limiting it to 20 miles an hour, you're gonna definitely get a lot more range than hitting 28, 31 miles an hour, something like that. And my goodness, it's a freaking hurricane out here, dude. I'm getting straight up sand blasted right now. You see that sand coming off the ground? Oh my goodness. We'll get out there and see how it does on the sand here shortly. But before we try the easy flat stuff, I hope you can hear me through this wind. Let's try this uphill, full throttle. The area. I could definitely let a little bit of air out of that shock on the rear, man. That was a little bit rough with so much air in the air shock. All right, let's see how it'll do out here in the sand. Oh man, that rear shock would definitely benefit from having a little bit less air in it. I don't even know if you guys can hear me right now, but we're doing 15 miles an hour in the headwind. And these more street-friendly focused 4-inch wide fat tires were full throttle out here, not pedaling at all. It is giving full power. We can see all the bars lit up there.
So I apologize for the wind noise here, but as you can see, it's not really crushing it on the sand test. We're kind of getting through with the tailwind. The tires on this e-bike are kind of more designed for street riding, and the power setup on this thing seems to be more tailored for range as compared to raw power. But with a little bit of pedaling, we made it on through back to land.
Just look at that flag up there. Look how strong the wind is. What is happening right here? Ah. I'm running. That dude's chasing me. You can't give up the Himiway though. All right, dudes, you know what time it is. We're gonna run it up to the top of that cliff right there. It's 85 feet tall. It's a 12% grade on that ramp. It's called the California Incline. We're gonna see what kind of speed we can hit and what kind of number it's gonna do on the battery, because we are showing 3 out of 5 bars right now. So full throttle at the base of the loop-de-loop, pulling us on up about 8 miles an hour here. It is showing it is giving us full power. I wish it did show us a wattage number. It gives us this beautiful little bar display though. And of course we'll try out the brakes at the bottom of the California Incline here. When we get down here, full throttle at the base, 5, 6 miles an hour. 8, 11, 16, 17, 18 miles an hour, 18.3, and it's starting to back off power just a little bit because we're getting close to that 20 mile an hour speed limit, but it is hitting 19 miles an hour. Well, it did for a moment. So now we're gonna test the brakes. They are Tektro 180 millimeter rotors. This thing can only go 20.6 downhill though. And we'll get multiple levers. Oh yeah. Just in the nick of time. So since they are hydraulic brakes and, you know, name brand Tektro 180 millimeters, these are actually really great brakes for this bike. They feel nice, they have good stopping power, and these tires, they put the power down to the ground well. So to give you an idea of what that stopping force looks like, full throttle, 20 miles an hour, and brakes. Good brakes. So we're gonna head on home, see what the final range is. We are showing about 4 out of 5 bars. And on the way there, I'll share my final thoughts. So really, I have 2 main thoughts when it comes to final thoughts on this e-bike. One is price. $2,300, not the cheapest e-bike on the market at all. But you might be able to get a discount in the link below this video in the description box. And if you did decide this is the e-bike for you, it would help support my reviews if you bought through the link below this video in the description box. And the other major thing is the style. There's really just not any other e-bikes out there that look like this one, and I do think that this is a pretty cool looking e-bike. Now $2,300 for a 20 mile an hour e-bike. There's definitely other options out there, you know, that's going to kind of give you higher speeds and more acceleration for the price, but this one is definitely a lot more street legal than some of those other options. And then the seat, I am noticing it's a little bit you know, I like the seat, but it's a little bit harder towards the back. But right here, like in the middle, it's like more soft. This bike might be best for like a shorter individual that would be sitting, you know, closer up on the seat, kind of where you're meant to sit on this bike. And then the thing with the chain, I have not really pedaled this at all, but on gear number 1, that chain is definitely rubbing on the tire. Gear 2 is even touching a little bit. Gear 3, you're good to go. It is a torque sensor. In general, I think the coolest thing about this bike is the look. Let's head on home, check the final range on this thing, because we are showing 3 out of 5 bars. All right, dude, just rolling up on about 17 miles. Hour and 25 minutes ride time. Average speed, almost 12 miles an hour, and we are showing 3 out of 5 bars on the power. If I give it full throttle, it will start to trickle down to 2 bars there. And that's me, 200-pound dude, not pedaling this bike at all. So say you weigh a little bit less and you actually can use those pedals because your legs are a little bit shorter than mine, you'll definitely get better range than what I'm doing here on throttle only at 200 pounds. So all around, Himiway C5, pretty cool looking bike. If you do want to grab one, buy it through the link down below this video in the description box. That would help support this channel. However, if this is not the kind of electric bike you're looking for, watch this video next. Catch you over there.